So we have covered this thing, and we will get back to you once the what do you say the quarterfinals are concluded. Hopefully, our
And
will
also,
conclude.
we wanted to do an
Hmm.
episode about Manchester United. So, any United fan with a little bit of common sense who can actually rationally debate. See,
Yeah.
when I say common sense, I'm not saying all the other United fans are without common sense. I'm saying your love for your team should not overshadow your willingness to have a conversation or your rationality. So, any
Yeah.
United
If you
fan,
if you
yeah, go on, tell me.
like if you are willing to like accept criticism or like or
No,
if
because genuinely we
if,
are going to take a long, hard look at what is going on, like how we did with Bayern with Jitu. So we need someone.
and if we have some from Munai, we can get more of an inside view, someone who actually watches all their games,
Exactly.
some input from that. As much as we can cover, there is so much we can cover about teams that the outside of what we support. Unless like we can't like match every single detail. So if we could have someone like that, please do let us know. Please, you can approach us. Let's just comment in our video. We'll
Yes. Or
contact
you
you.
can message us, or
Please.
anything you can do. Somehow reach out to us.
Anyway,
Not only United fans,
okay.
I want fans from three teams who can actually talk,
Yeah.
hold a conversation, who actually watch the games, and who are open to have a
Yeah.
debate or who are open to rationally criticize their club. I'm not saying overly critical, we're not talking about vitriol. Just saying have a conversation about what is going on, how it goes on. So, three clubs we want are United, Chelsea, and Manchester City because their downfall this season also has been quite this thing. I mean, we can comment about
Okay.
Manchester City a lot, but having a fan's point of view from a neutral point of view in that would be completely different in my opinion. So, these three clubs:
Okay. So Chelsea,
United,
United,
City.
and City.
Hello and welcome back to the Football Analysis and Rants show. Today we'll be returning back to from our exile to European football. We are going to be discussing about the Champions League in specific. We're not going to discuss the individual leagues
These
today.
are the champions.
No, Champions League does deserve our attention because it's going good. And I'm not saying if it's bad, we
Yeah.
won't cover it because we love European football, because we love football. Let's go. And so, yeah,
Let's go.
round of 16 has started after the league phase of the season has finished. And we've had quite a few interesting matchups, and we were expecting a lot of fireworks, but we didn't expect fireworks of this category. Should we start off with the
Yeah.
biggest one first, or will we keep the biggest and the last as this thing? Either way works.
I mean,
And the biggest one
there
I'm
was
talking about
only
the
one.
Real game. So
Yeah, obviously. I mean, there was only one underwhelming game in that whole this thing. The rest of them look exciting, and you all know what I'm talking about. So let's start with Arsenal Real
no,
Madrid.
I'm sorry.
It's
Actually, we're not talking about the round of 16. Round of 16 also finished. We didn't cover that also. We're talking about the
quarter
quarterfinals. I'm
quarter
really sorry.
final,
I'm really
quarter
sorry.
final.
Yeah.
Okay, correction then. Yeah.
Okay, so again, we'll just recap about who all are playing in the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, the teams that qualified are Bayern, Inter, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Dortmund, PSG, and Aston Villa. So these are the 8 teams that have gone through. And Liverpool, despite finishing top of the table in the league phase, got absolutely dominated and knocked out by PSG. Over both the legs, Liverpool didn't deserve to win, and they
Yeah.
deserved to exit, and that's what happened. And any other notable exits in that stage? I don't think any other.
I think it's the main highlight was Liverpool. What was the point of finishing in that top?
I,
I mean, to some extent, you could say Leverkusen also because everybody was expecting them to beat Bayern.
okay, fair enough. Okay, but yeah, then Leverkusen
Yeah.
are having an underwhelming season this year. And if you want to watch our coverage of Leverkusen, you can go back and watch a video from I think sometime last year where we had predicted this would happen, and this is exactly what happened. And you can also go watch our Girona video where we talked about how Girona did a lot of good things back then, but we didn't expect it to continue, and that's exactly what happened now.
What happened? Yeah.
And let's get back to our coverage of the Champions League quarterfinals leg 1. We'll start off with which game?
Yes.
The least interesting game of all?
The most surprising game,
Oh,
I
the
would
most
say,
surprising game. Okay, let's go.
Arsenal and Real Madrid.
Okay, so again, everyone has seen these clips. Everyone who has ever followed football knows about how Declan Rice did a madness. But yeah, of course, he's never scored a free kick in, I think, his whole career.
When was the last time we saw free kicks out like so far outside the box
And it
getting
going,
converted?
especially
Like,
the
it's very
second
rare.
free kick was
Oh my
insanely
god!
good. Oh my
It's like
god.
it's like as top pin as you can get, and not even it just graced the corner, and it's just
Beautiful.
like there's nothing you can do. nothing you can. I don't think any keeper can reach
Exactly.
there
As a
that
keeper,
particular
Jittu,
spot.
what would you say? First one, okay, let's say a lot of people have said the wall placement was wrong. I don't think it was that
Hmm.
bad, the wall placement, but yes, I can understand why people would say, okay, wall placement could have been better.
It the probably the argument could be it's less impressive than the less impressive. I won't say it's not bad. Like the kudos to the Rice, he did everything correct in that one. But the second was like nothing could defend that. It's like one of those things like
It's like a
absurd.
penalty where you place it perfectly where the keeper can't reach it no matter what. But this was
And
more impressive.
yeah, so yeah, you were saying
Yes.
about Rice.
So again, Rice did a madness, but then we also, other than these two goals, also you have to give him credit because the whole game he was almost the workhorse. He was all the way up there. He was also coming back to help with the defense, which is very rare for people who get that kind of
Yeah,
responsibility because people are like, okay, you're telling me to play up, I'll only go up, I'll stay there, or something of that sort.
yeah,
This was not like that.
yeah,
He actually played everywhere. He actually gave his 100% for the team, and respect for that. And another player that I have to absolutely mention is Bukayo Saka. So good the entire game, and I think both the fouls were because of him. He won both those fouls, and which Rice eventually converted for these mad free kicks. But then again, Bukayo Saka, I have to admit, I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game because I mean he is well.
I mean, all of us were telling, I think in general, there was a conversation was to like, it's high time for Arsenal to step up, high time for these two players to step up in like a game that actually matters. And they did. I mean, they did. I mean, yeah, people might say red card. I mean, red card happened, what, 90 plus 4 minutes something. As the game was probably done and dusted. And nothing that could have done or something. Thank God that a red card happened that time also. Otherwise, they would have scored like 5 or 6 goals.
And again,
And
credit where credit is due. Both the goalkeepers did an insane job. Before we move on to Real Madrid,
yeah,
also, both the goalkeepers
yeah,
played an excellent game, so they can't be faulted. You can't say there were any mistakes from both the goalkeepers. And those two free
yeah,
kicks and the third goal also. Even the third goal, we're not talking about the third goal. The third goal also was masterfully executed. That cutback and
yeah,
him finishing, absolutely
yeah,
top.
yeah,
And many people have said, including the legendary Thierry Henry, that this is among the best nights in the Emirates Stadium in its history so far.
yeah.
And it's been 20 years since that
Yeah,
stadium has been built.
and this is the last time I guess and Arsenal is the only team that has a positive, extremely positive record against Real Madrid. The irony, Arsenal haven't lost to Real Madrid in a long time,
And
even though they haven't played
exactly,
in a
that
long
was my
time.
point.
But still, the like that record is still there. That's like that will be in the minds of Madrid. Okay, we've not beaten this team over two legs for a long time in the recent history, as at least.
And again, without going into too much detail, I think
Mm.
Arteta executed a masterclass. And I
Mm.
mean, a masterclass in a way that he set up his team exactly for what he expected Real to do. And he did that perfectly because he knows Real are injury plagued. And if you want to understand how we say Real are injury plagued, and I am going to tell you, we expected this, we called this out, and I think many people would have seen this coming. And if you go
Yeah.
back to our La Liga video from the season beginning,
I mean,
where we did the predictions.
even if they're injury plagued, they're it's not still not an excuse to put up the starting lineup they already
I
have
mean,
and losing like
no, that is
this.
true. But if you, again, like I'm referencing back to a video we did like 8 months back, the way we did the season prediction video, I specifically had said that Real needs defensive improvements, and this is exactly why. On nights like these
Yeah,
where it matters, I mean, of course, out wide you had important players who were missing, but at least in the center, I'm not saying that all of this could have been avoided, but to a large extent, you could have been much better throughout the whole game. You can't expect Courtois to pull off masterclasses every single game. There might be a day when
yeah,
he might be off. Even Lunin, for how much ever you praise him, both are exceptionally good keepers. I'm not saying they're not. But you can't expect
yeah,
them to bail your team out time and time again when you have subpar defenders. And that is what Rudiger is.
yeah,
You have to accept
yeah,
that. Maybe he does decently here and there and all. But for a team of the caliber and the level at which Real Madrid plays and aims to compete, that was not done. And I'm not blaming only Rudiger for how badly that game was. The game in general was very bad. Vinicius Jr. absolutely vanished. I don't even think I saw
vanished.
him
Yeah,
during the game.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
Rodrigo was a bad choice to start. Bellingham,
yeah,
for how much ever I praise him, for how much ever I like Bellingham, that was not a game that is going to get you any accolades, any praises, because that was
yeah,
in
uh,
general a bad game.
yeah,
I don't know what to say because again, now we have moved on from Arsenal to Real because we're trying to get this each match done fast. There
Hmm.
was no. It didn't seem like they wanted to win, in my opinion. I'm not saying that they didn't want to win. Of course, Real being Real, they want to win every game. But Bellingham, in his
Yeah.
own words, said, "We are lucky we didn't lose by 6 or something," because that's how bad they were.
Yeah, that's what. Like, imagine the red card happening like at least 5 minutes earlier. I'm pretty sure Arsenal would have scored about two more goals, and we wouldn't even have to talk about this game. I mean, how much our Real Madrid say they were kings of comebacks, man. 5 goals and all is too much.
Even three
Like
goals
even this
teams too
three
far-fetched
goals,
now,
like
but still.
two players now, especially since now I'll add it to this thing. They're arguably missing one of their best utility players in midfield. So now the midfield is also going to be lacking. So either Arsenal going to do the greatest choking job in the history of football, or Real Madrid are going to like turn up their bench is going to turn up like some prime Galacticos team or something and
If
pull off some.
you've seen the memes, no, the what sacrifices have begun. Someone is bleeding, some other guy died, and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's so weird shit is going on.
We
Oh
have an
my god.
Instagram group called the Slander Channel, which is only for
Yeah.
slander. If you want, you can join. You can text us. We'll add you to that group. But again, we want it's only slander. There's no appreciation for
Yeah.
anyone in there.
Anything.
Everyone gets belted for everything. So it's not like a supportive F.A.R community back on WhatsApp, but it's only for slander on Instagram. So yes,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
Arteta set his team up knowing that okay, Real were lacking here and there, but that's what every manager does. So again, despite giving him props, Ancelotti should have done a better job knowing that this is what they were going to exploit. They exploited the wide areas, they used their pace, they knew that the people who are playing in those wide areas in the defensive part are not cut out for their job. They're not. That's not their specialty, and it clearly showed.
Yeah.
People were running circles around them, circles, absolute circles, and the middle of the pitch. Despite people like Cruz and all, not Cruz, Modric and all playing. I'm sorry, I'm so
Once.
used to seeing Cruz there.
Close, yeah,
Sorry,
very weird.
sorry, sorry. I did watch the game. I'm not just bluffing. I did Cruz. See, Modric. See, again, I'm saying Modric. Despite people like Modric being there, you have to accept that he doesn't have the legs anymore, and how much he can influence and affect the game is very limited. Which is why you have masters like Jude Bellingham there, you have Kamavinga, Chouameni and all there for that reason to cover for this and to exploit the experience and use his vision and how should I say on ball intelligence as much. But it was completely nullified by the work rate of people like Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka. Everyone was dropping back, everyone was pushing up.
Yeah.
And I think one of a hallmarks of a great team is always their midfield. Doesn't matter how good their attack is, how good their defense is. I mean, of course, defense is very important, but I'm saying the difference between a good team and an elite team is always that midfield. If you see the season
Yeah.
that Barcelona won their league title, it was completely built off of the excellence of that defense.
Yeah.
But again, we don't talk about how good that midfield was. Pedri's number,
Yeah.
Gavi's number that season were insane. Insane. Even Busquets. Without these guys, how much ever good that defense was, there was no chance that they were going to win. That is one. So
Yeah.
that's an example I'm giving you. Even right now, if you take it, they might have a star-studded attack. Real Madrid have Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Enric and all on the field. And these are guys who can actually have who do have genuinely the potential to turn a game on its head. To keep control of the game to an extent where these people are not even on TV for us to see is a remarkable feat. And if you play football, you'll understand how difficult it is because the second forwards, especially wingers or people who have a higher attacking rate, the second they stop getting fed the ball up there, they start dropping back to try and get more of the ball and try and generate something. Despite all of that happening, credit to Arsenal because they were able to keep them quiet for so long and they did it so well. So well. I can't even exaggerate how good that midfield was. And credit to all the Arsenal's academy graduates and the youngsters because again, in a big game like this, in your own stadium with the pressure of playing Real Madrid in a quarter-final, after so long, getting so deep into the competition, having the balls to play them by the manager is actually very commendable in my opinion. Because Arsenal is not
Fair enough.
known to play these young people in such high stakes games. Anything else you want to add?
Fair enough. Nothing much, sir. I mean, as much as I would say about Real Madrid's recent exploits of coming back, this is too far-fetched for me to say. I was on the side of Real Madrid going through because Arsenal were showing a lot of inexperience in the recently, and they were also not consistent. I mean, although Liverpool has started dropping points left, right, and
But
center
that league is already
recently.
done, sir, and no
Yeah,
chance.
so it's pointless right now. So this is actually, I mean, interesting to see. I mean, they stepped up now. Now the only thing that is about mentality. What are they going to carry forward to the next game in Southampton? Are they going to get intimidated? Are they going to suddenly forget how to play football? So
Again,
it's all down to Arsenal. As much as I would like to say, okay, Real Madrid gonna do this thing or something, it's just about Arsenal's mentality in this
everyone is
case.
already predicting an insane low block by Arteta at the Bernabeu, but I don't think it'll be that bad. Maybe it could be like
Yeah, why would he do that if he can just put one goal and just kill off the game
that's also true.
afterwards?
And you also have to realize that Real Madrid also do
Mhm.
that. So playing Real Madrid's tactics at home in Real Madrid by sitting back when they have the lead is not going to work. And again,
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's unprecedented for Real to come back from three down because they did it against Dortmund this very season in the UCL. So it's not
yeah,
unprecedented,
yeah,
but it's again very difficult.
yeah. Very difficult because the circumstances are different. They don't have a bench anymore. They just lost one of their another starting 11. He's going to be missing the next game. And what is that? The bench is very weak. So it's not like the same scenario right
And
now.
that already, the especially with the bench, this thing you told me, it already scares me for the summer transfer window, because knowing that their bench is so weak, they are going to go mad after players they want, dude. Think about it.
I mean, yeah. We'll see. Especially the Club World Cup is coming. No, I want
Oh,
to.
and there's
They
a
they are participating
third transfer window now.
just for like 10 days or something.
I watched a
Since they
Fiago
can,
video about it today morning.
technically you can sign like for 10 days and loan deal and then give the
It's
player back.
true,
So
no.
freakish, some weird shit you can do like that, and you can again sell them back in the next transfer window. So you might see a lot of, apparently a lot of clubs did that recently. If you want us to talk about the Club World Cup and some reason fucked up shit that's happening in there, we'll make a video. There's a lot of funny things that's happening regarding that.
Okay, we are spending too much
Uh,
time on this one game. We should move on to the
yeah,
next game. Do you want to talk about
next
PSG or
game.
about Bayern Inter?
We'll finish the shitty games first itself. So
I understood.
I'm sorry, I'm not telling any bad on Inter and this thing. It's just the other teams are so horrible.
Okay,
So
because Bayern, Jittu is our resident Bayern fan here. I'll finish my part in like under 2 minutes. First of
yeah,
all, credit to a super underrated striker of our generation, Lautaro Martinez. That guy has always been very good. I mean, of course, he had
yeah,
that Torres phase where he would be missing easy chances, but right now even Lewandowski is doing that. So, elite
yeah.
strikers have phases like this, and Lautaro Martinez is an elite striker. So, if I have at some point slandered him, I owe you an apology again. This whole day has been about just me issuing apologies to people, no? But then again, yeah, Lautaro Martinez, respect where respect is due. Incredible player, always comes in clutch for his club and also for his country. His national exploits of always go, how should I say, unrecognized. But here, especially in the club, I don't think you can debate that he has been very influential for his team, and that team without Lautaro Martinez is completely, I don't know if anyone has the capacity to replace him in that starting lineup and also give the same amount of contribution that he does. Other than that, again, Inter play one very weird. It's also haram ball. I'm not saying it's not haram ball, but most of Italy does play in more or less a similar way. So I think that's just how,
It worked out for them. It worked out for them
and they have
so far.
always
So
done
why
it. So
not?
we're not expecting anything new from Inter when we see an Inter game. And they did it quite well, despite Bayern getting so
Yeah.
many chances. And of course, Bayern was very wasteful with the chances they got. And again, see, I don't want to get into that because you can see Jitu's expressions on screen already. So I'll let him talk about that. But Bayern were extremely wasteful with the chances they got. And Inter, whatever few chances that they got on target, they did it quite well. And again, that ends my coverage. Again, respect to Inter, but I don't know. And again, you have to realize that this was at Bayern's home. This was in the Allianz Arena. So going back
Yeah. It's
to
a,
Inter's home to the San Siro to play again. Bayern being Bayern, they're a very good team, so they might do it. But again, home advantage is not there. But
I would rather not let them win, sir. I have reasons for that also.
okay, and that ends my coverage. Jitu will take over from here.
Yeah. So I don't know. See, as I previously mentioned in the rant earlier, our defense is not great. The only thing that was helping us grind out results was the attack was good. Okay, now all of a sudden we cannot seem to finish anything. We have to create like some 20 chances to score like one or two. And that's exactly what we saw in that game. And the fact that the fact that Kane is starting to go missing, and I understand his work rate, but I understand this he's coming dropping, but his whole purpose is to score goals. And if he's not doing that, other things are all secondary. People are now talking about Lewandowski. He doesn't do any of these things, but he scores the goals. Like he does the job that is asking to. Like there are players to back him for doing all these things. So when
No,
you're a
and
striker, I understand.
you have to accept the
Yeah,
fact that every striker has that phase where they don't exactly blow people out of the water. But again, there's a price
yeah,
tag that Harry Kane comes with, being the most expensive transfer in the
100
history
million.
of the club.
Yeah,
So yes,
yeah,
you should be expecting a lot from him, and it's fair to expect a lot from him.
definitely,
But again,
definitely.
you have to consider the fact that they're playing so many bloody games in a season. So,
Yeah.
and also you have to mention that Musiala was not available for this game, so there was a lot of
So
creative
many. I
deficit.
mean, just before the game, we had like so much horrible this thing. Like almost all of the informed players, around seven players of the starting player, including Neuer, Musiala, and Davies out. Davies is completely out for 6 months. He probably missed the Club World Cup also.
And
Neuer, I don't know, is the muscle tear. Musiala, right now, I'm getting he'll be also out for the foreseeable season. So I don't know even if we get through this game somehow. We just have to manage with whatever
Rafael
this
Guerrero,
is happening.
Played instead of Jamal Musiala in the same position.
That's how bad our creativity right now is. So I'll sum up Bayern very simply. The Bayern is a team that just has midfield right now. There's only midfield. There are if I could pick two players, only thing that we are still relevant, only thing that is saving us till now is because Kimmich is underratedly having probably is one of his best seasons. It's just that team around him is the defense is so bad that there's only so much he can do.
True.
It's his like his numbers are talking everywhere. If you look at progressive passes, you created like a chance created from deep, pass completion, anything that is associated with like bailing Bayern out of difficult situations, Kimmich is doing there and there. So there's only so much you can do. And Goretzka recently, he started like becoming very good and influential. Like right now, like he was at the bench for a long time. Suddenly, I probably because of a new contract coming in, is playing very well, very good. And as long as Musiala was there, obviously he was playing well. And Muller, I think he's doing some sort of last thing. I mean, especially this game against Inter and the yesterday's game that I watched, everything like he's like suddenly like this 35-year-old guy who's retiring is actually showing more creativity than let's say the 100 million signings we
And
had.
it's not that he's suddenly showing creativity. Come on, give him props. He's always been that good.
I mean, I thought even he was supposed to slow down, and this guy is outperforming, let's say, this likes of Lord Sane, fraud. I still don't know why he's starting games. I don't see him doing anything.
And
He only thing that he's doing is running and getting the ball, and he's getting in good places, and he's just passing it back, or at least 10 times I would have seen him getting the ball in the left hand side and dribbling it across all the way just to get tackled by someone and missing the ball. And he repeatedly does this
he's
thing.
doing Raheem Sterling stuff, sir.
Yeah, I mean, Coman also he does two fakes, three fakes. I mean, that's that like they're pace merchants. And compared to these two fuckers, Ganabry is doing it's a phenomenal job. He's coming in whenever he's getting chance. He's actually finishing better. He's the only player who's actually taking proper shots. Like yeah, I'm at least in glimpses I'm seeing of his former self, and he's not starting probably because of fitness issues. I'm not sure, but it was clearly evident in the yesterday's game we played against Dortmund. So I'm not going much into that.
And
So this game
I
again,
think,
it was like
okay, sorry.
yeah,
Thomas Muller's contract situation also might be playing in a little bit with the dressing room dynamics, because he's a leader of the pitch, and him
yeah,
openly now, even it's official now because Muller himself has come out and confirmed it to everyone that he's not going to be renewing for another season because the club hasn't offered him a new contract. So
yeah,
that
yeah,
could be messing with the dynamics a little bit. And I mean, I'm not blaming everything on just one incident. Of course, the team itself is not looking that great. The starting lineup itself didn't inspire much confidence in anyone, to be fair.
yeah.
And like you said, Goretzka is up for a new contract, is it?
There is a this underlying this thing. Probably that's why he's
Good
playing
also.
very well.
No, because
It's very weird.
Limer is supposed to be primarily a CDM, and he's playing at right
CDM.
back, like how Kimmich
No,
was used in
the
that season.
idea, the more weird part is this. The very next game he's playing it. I don't know what his position is going on. Guerrero is suddenly playing right back, he's playing cam. Then he'll go to winger. Then you'll see Limer coming in midfield. And now we have Lord Kim and Dyer as this thing.
Eric Dyer
Eh,
is not that bad. Your Kim is just bad.
Eric, I said Lord Kim and Dyer. So like you get it. Another expensive defensive signing. I don't know. Sometimes he switches off. He has brilliant moments and he has equally shit moments. It's like some weird dual swing mood or some. I don't know what to say. This is some bipolar shit. I don't know what to
No, I
call this.
understand because
Bro only has
when Eric
extremes.
Dyer came in, everyone, including me, doubted him. Again, I owe Eric Dyer an apology.
Yeah,
He has been
yeah.
actually quite decent this season. I'm not going to say brilliant, extreme, and all that, but he's been quite good this season. He's been more or less
given that he's
reliable.
going to given that he's going to finish his contract, he's showing much more passion than some of the already established players. Like he's actually giving, like, even though he doesn't have to, he's going to move on from here. I don't think that he won't get as much respect as most of the other players who are there.
And
So kudos to him.
have you finished talking about the players? I have one more pertinent question to
Yes,
ask
yes,
you.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes,
again,
yes.
we
Please
have
go.
talked in length about this in the Bayern episodes. Could it be that it's Vincent Kompany's inexperience at this level in this stage of the competition that is costing the team? See, in
Yes.
my opinion, say, I'll just put out my opinion, then you can try and refute it or give me your point of view on this. Vincent Kompany, like I already told in that episode also, I feel like he has nothing to lose. At the end of the season, he is going. I don't care how long of a contract they gave him. This end of this season, he's out. He's out of a job.
Unless he wins the UCL, that is the only thing that's
I
going to
don't
save
think
him.
even winning the UCL is going to. See, let's say he wins the UCL, okay? Let's assume some weird thing happens. All the other teams just give walkover and Bayern still win.
Yeah.
Company is there. Let's say tomorrow Hansi Flick gets free and Bayern reaches out to him and Hansi Flick is willing. Do you think they'll keep Company?
Sir, these fuckers had the chance to hire Hansi Flick and they hired company. And I don't
No, I
expect
don't think
anything
Hansi
like
Flick
that.
wanted to go back. And I think he had already had a pre-agreement with Barcelona, so his hands were tied.
No, he would have gone back, but then there is some people inside who had like ego issues
Oh,
because who clashed with him or something. I
insane.
forgot what is going on.
That's good for
But
Barcelona, so
fans,
I won't
yeah.
complain. So
I mean,
So
continue.
Vincent Company experience and all. See, I am saying he doesn't have much to work with right now with this team. He does. It's not like Pochettino got a team with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe to win the UCL. He has a bare bones team right now, Vincent Company, to work with. So I feel with the team he has available at his disposal, he in all honesty is trying his best because
Yeah.
I don't think these are things that I do in FIFA as a manager when I'm playing manager career mode. I see that someone has decent passing pace, passing stats, has good pace, has decent stamina, and I'm like, okay, he might be a right back, left back, but I can play him as a midfielder, I can play him as a winger, I can play him as a cam. And I'm not saying he's doing this because he plays a lot of FIFA or football manager. I'm just saying it kind of makes sense in some way that okay, this fellow has this ability to do these things, so maybe we can try him out there. On the flip side, yes, Muller is getting old. Yes, Muller will not have a contract, but as of now, you want result, so you should be focusing on right now. And I think maybe Muller would not have finished the whole game, but maybe if he was there, they could have gotten an early lead and held on to it. So maybe he should have
Yeah,
done
there are a
that.
lot of people are telling Muller's characteristic is to go inside spaces and find it. For a team that like Inter who close down spaces, probably he's the best person to find
Exactly.
space there or create spaces for others to run in or something. And I don't know why. Hopefully, that guy has some this thing. He seems quite optimistic about the second, but I don't have much optimism, especially after the draw against the most horrible, worst Dortmund team in the last 15 years. Shameless draw against when they had the chance to get 8 points lead. And Inter, I don't think there's much to say about Inter. I think they are on top. If I'm not wrong, wait, what the fuck? I just saw something
What
now.
happened just now?
Inter just lost to Cagliari yesterday.
Freak result, sir.
Okay, free crystal. Okay, little bit optimism coming there. So that is Inter's third loss. Let me check the squad. So I haven't watched this game, so let me check how what they played.
Until
Uh,
Jittu sees that, I'll tell you another this thing about the
hey,
Inter's
wait, what the? No. That is just me. Oh shit, that was a Google error. Inter actually beat Cagliari 3-1. That was a Google
anticlimactic end.
error. Anticlimactic. Yeah, so we are fucked. We are cooked.
That changed so fast. वक्त बदल दिए, जज्बात
Yeah.
बदल दिए.
Stupid Google.
Okay, so I
Sorry.
was again talking about the managers. We also have to
Uh,
give credit to Inzaghi because we know that that guy, despite playing the haram ball that he does, he is actually a genius in managing his people. He is a genius in setting
yeah.
up his team for victory. I know that on paper their formation looks the same. It's always a
Mm,
3-5-2 or a 4-4-2, and then like Jitu said, they try to close down space. They play with a low block, and their pressing trigger is always when there's a bad touch or a mispass, and it's not like they're continuously pressing, so they conserve their energy and all of that. That is just Inter's standard style of play. It's not like they deviate much from it. But still, I would give credit to Inzaghi because what I have seen in this game, they were adapting to everything that Bayern were trying otherwise. Because if they
okay.
had played their normal standard way also, without, let's say Inzaghi
Yeah.
was not there and this was this normal Inter's tactics, Sane and Olise
Yeah.
are extremely pacey players and they cut in a lot.
Yeah.
They do a lot of fakes
Yeah.
and they do a lot of fancy stuff on the ball. So for a
Sane needs sir. Police said. Only. Fuck Sane. Useless.
so traditionally slow players like the defenders we have in Inter can't keep up with that much tomfoolery around the ball and
Pace.
stuff like that. But they Inzaghi set his team up in such a way that despite them having the pace, despite them cutting, they were able to negate that. They were able to keep them at a distance, at a safe distance.
Mm.
Whatever
Mm.
tomfoolery they were doing it, even if they reached the final third, it was never in front of goal. Whatever tomfoolery they were doing or whatever chances they got, they never let them have a, how should I say it, clear impact or something where the goalkeeper had to be necessary or they had to make a, or the defenders had to make a goal saving intervention. It was throughout the game I kept noticing that whatever they were doing to cut in, how much ever pace they used, tricks they used, how much ever dribbling they did, it never directly resulted in something key. All of the good chances that they got that they missed were just dead chances that they could have just put in the net.
Okay. Correct. Fair enough. I mean, okay, we have gone too much into this game. So Inter is supposed to win, and unless like I don't see like given the mentality Bayern has, I don't know what team is going to come up. So I would have a safer option is like to say, and I definitely don't want this to team to go into the semi final and get humiliated, and because I have to live with that for the rest of the year. So that's my personal thing. Because even if they somehow stay to, I would not want that because they do not deserve to be anywhere near there. And the only thing that is working in their favor is like that will be Inter's back of their head is like Inter have never won at home against Bayern. Like that is the longest losing streak at home to any opponent across European competitions by Inter and any other opponent. Like Inter has never beaten Bayern at home. That's like a long-standing this thing. So that is the only thing they could look up to. Probably that could get into their heads.
But again,
Other
it's
than
at
that, it's
home.
all.
San Siro's atmosphere is wild.
I know. That's what. That's what. Still, they lost to Bayern in home like many times.
Also
Even
fair.
as recently, it's like 2 years back.
Fair, fair.
Even though yeah. So but scenario is different. Situation is different. So I won't say high scoring game. Bayern might score one and Inter might win in penalties also, or it will be like a one probably a 3-2 or something like that. So 3-2 or 4-3 or something like that. I'm not expecting something of a complete. Probably this game is going to be one of the most boring games comparatively to the rest. I do not see any opening because Bayern are that
No,
bad at
no.
finishing.
Bayern just needs one goal, and then Inter will go back into Mohan Bagan, let's go win this mode. No, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Inter will keep playing haram ball because they are content with 0-0 and then just going through.
0-0.
But again, if Bayern just
Yeah.
scores one, then Inter will be forced to respond, and I think that will make that
Yeah.
game exciting.
More opening.
Compared to, I think compared to all
Yeah.
the other games in this fixture, that will be the most exciting because every other fixture in the quarters are more or less almost done. At least 70% of the way are done. So this is the only game that there's still a chance that something might happen.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So
We'll move on to the PSG game because the other
Yeah,
Barcelona
moving
game
on
is
to
there's no
the-
point of discussing the Barcelona game. There's nothing to discuss there. What is there to discuss?
this is already there, done and dusted. We'll come to the PSG
So-
game. PSG Renaissance. PSG 2.0. Luis Enrique is living up to his
Exactly.
words.
I would have
Like,
said this at some point in some podcast, in some episode, that PSG, once they get rid of these so-called superstars, they'll automatically become better because Luis Enrique is a phenomenal
he
manager.
exactly stated that. Like, I think we are a better team after, let's say, who was this? After Mbappe left. So I think that's proving to this thing, and they're starting to use their academy talents.
Exactly.
Or
He's like properly, he's translating Barcelona's philosophy directly into PSG and it's working really well for them. Other than, I think, Kvaratskhelia, there are no other like huge names.
big transfers. Yeah. All are like Kvaratskhelia to some extent Dembele. So yeah, I mean,
How much ever I hate Dembele, I genuinely don't rate him as a player. I mean, since he's gone to PSG, he might have done decently, but it's again.
I mean, he's spearheading their.
Okay, again, I have to preface this. I owe him an apology because this season he was having a blinder of a start. Mad
What could
he was
I?
scoring.
It's almost showing what he could have become if it weren't for.
No,
his-
it's not pain because he didn't perform for Barcelona and all that. Because if he would not have left, he would not have gotten Yamal. So there is that.
Fair enough. Correct.
So
correct.
despite all of that,
Things happen for a reason.
Dembele, how should I say this? A prime example I would give you is because almost anyone who's ever listened to any football podcast would definitely have watched the World Cup final.
Yeah.
Dembele had to be pulled off in the first half.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about what kind of a player he is. He might look very good on the ball, extremely pacey, can finish with both foot, can dribble with both feet, can shoot with both feet. Everything is there, but I don't know. There is something that doesn't make him elite, in my opinion. In my opinion, at least. He's very good. He's just not elite. So again, whatever we say about PSG, coming back to this game, there was the shithousery of Emi Martinez trying to get into their heads.
Right. Before the game even started, before they even stepped on the pitch.
And I think they genuinely responded very well, PSG. But then again, I wouldn't expect anything less from a Luis
Took
Enrique.
it personally, especially this new wonder kid called Desiree Doué.
I was legit about it. That guy, dude, that guy and Yamal are why I still have faith that football will live on. Okay, everyone else has become boring. Everyone else has become
bro,
robotic.
it's like that shining hope. Like, okay, there is more fancy, individualistic.
There's still some flair left in
some
football.
Flair left in football.
Literally, him and Yamal are the only reason to keep watching football. They don't care what happens. They are like, ball comes, I do what I want. Okay? And the thing is, they usually produce the result. It's not like I do what I want and then we end up sucking or we end up losing the game.
It is working for me, so I keep doing it.
And see, I would not expect anything less from a team run by this legendary manager. But despite saying that, I would say more than it being a player thing, I think this is again a managerial masterclass because the way he set up his team, again, everywhere I'll say,
Completely, they completely shut down Aston Villa everywhere.
they
Only
didn't have a
Highland-
chance. You think about it, where did Aston Villa touch the ball? I barely
The
saw
only,
them have
only,
the ball.
only highlight was the goal they scored first. They opened the scoring. That is the only time we saw the action. After that, gone. Nothing.
It's like that PS5 meme. No, they'll be playing and then they score 2 goals and sit up and they start playing.
They had two shots on target. One they scored. That's all. And you look at PSG, they had 29 shots. And there is no red card, nothing. This thing, they all had all
That's
11
what I'm saying.
people. And this is
They controlled so much of the ball. Where did Villa even touch? What?
it's like
Go on.
typical Luis Enrique gameplay. 841 passes. compared to Villa had 271 passing accuracy 94%. Like that's how you like expect from like how traditionally you Luis and Enrique plays the possession, like completely taking control of the game.
And see, I'm not saying PSG's defense is bad, but this
Hmm.
old Johan Cruyff philosophy of you don't have to defend if you always have the ball works so
Yeah,
well when it's executed properly. Again, I have to tell
properly.
you
Yeah,
perfectly that it only works when it's executed properly.
when it's executed
Javi,
properly. That's why not everybody succeeds
exactly.
with that
Javi has the
sort.
exact same philosophy. He tried most of the same stuff and he had an extremely good defense, which is why he did a lot of good stuff. But he couldn't
Yeah.
execute it exactly how Pep Guardiola or Luis Enrique, for that matter, do it. Same philosophy, exact same philosophy. All of them were born, brought up. If they cut their blood, the same thing will flow out. Possession based football, we have pacey wingers, we make more space, we make the pitch wide and play. All three of these people, managers that I have named, have the exact same philosophy. But two have done it right, and Javi also does really well. It's just that it didn't work at this level. When he played in Qatar, when he managed in Qatar, it was working really well for him. But again,
Yeah.
it didn't translate at this level. But again,
Yeah.
in this whole season, if there's only one manager who this has worked for, it is Luis Enrique, because even Guardiola has struggled with not being able to uh, replace Rodri
Certain
as well.
players.
So, despite them playing widely, they always need that one CDM to drop back in to make a three-man defense when everyone else is moving up, and they miss that. And of course, with Nico Gonzalez going there now, a little bit of it is back. But again, they spent some 60-70 million on that guy who's going to sit on the bench once Rodri comes back, which is again wild to think about. And see, they also had a person called Calvin Phillips who was also a very good CDM.
Yeah, where is he? Yeah, okay.
So again, we are going off into a Manchester City wala breakdown. I don't want to get into that. But again, coming back to this, he set them up so well that they didn't have to do much of the defending. They had so much of the ball that there was never a threat. There was never a threat. Once they scored, they are like, okay, this is what, like, once they conceded, they realized, okay, this is what is going to happen. And they are like, okay, this is going to happen. You block these off, done. And the game closed off. After the first goal, then they realized, okay, these are their inlets into our game. They just closed them off, and then the game was effectively dead. Nothing happened after that. They just dominated. They just walked the park. Nuno Mendes of all is going and scoring goal, ra. That fellow is a right back, left back, I don't know. Imagine that's how much dominance they have, that their wing backs are getting into the box and scoring at 90+2. Just chilling. They were chilling.
Oh my God.
So again, I don't want to talk more than that because credit where credit is due. They played a very good game.
Yes,
But again,
just outplayed them.
Aston Villa are
Yeah.
a very good team. I'm not debating that, but just PSG are right
Yeah,
now
on
at
paper,
about.
like who they have like very good names. Okay,
They-
they have Rashford, they have Rani Martinez in goal, they have Oli
Asensio.
Watkins, Asensio.
Yes.
Yeah, it's no way. Like I won't say. I mean, it's just it will be a surprise to a lot of people who don't haven't actively watched them that they are in
Exactly.
this at this stage
In the
right
PL
now.
also, if you think about it, even before they got all these megastar signings for them, they were actually
Yeah.
doing very well in the league. So Unai Emery is already doing a madness
Unai
there.
balling,
And
yeah.
even if they don't get through, I think quarterfinals for a team that was in the bottom half and relegation 2-3 years ago is a wild success.
Yeah.
So
Wild success.
Unai
And
Emery,
they're on track to qualify because it's confirmed that fifth place team is going to get the UCL spot in Premier League.
again,
Confirmed
we
right
have
now.
had this
And,
talk.
and all credit to again. I'm sorry to mention a certain team that is playing in the Conference League. Apparently, that is actually what is giving. Even though most of the English teams are out of the Champions League, and to an extent Europa League also, United and Chelsea are actually carrying the
And
coefficient for.
I have not even Chelsea. I would give more credit to United because they're the only team to remain unbeaten in Europe. So despite all the
Yeah,
United
that's just
slander,
under the radar. I mean, probably that is the only way they're going to qualify for anything
I
next
don't
year
think that
because
is
they're
happening.
30th
I
in the
don't think.
league.
Honestly, see, I'm not even. This is not even slander. I'm just being realistic here.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even bottom half of the table. You're closer to relegation than to the top half of the table. So I don't think it'll be realistic to hope about things like that. I would just say do something better. They're trying to get Liam Delap and all that. We will have our during the off season. We will have our regular transfers wala videos coming in weekly. But I'm just saying they already are lining up to sign Liam Delap and all that. He was a Manchester United, Manchester City youth prospect who played for them, and they let him go. He plays for Luton Town right now, and he has quite
Yeah.
good finishing stats for a team that is going to get relegated soon. And there's a relegation clause. No, actually, there's a relegation clause, and with that, I think he'll leave for like 50 million or something, which is decent considering they spent 60-70 million on Xerxes and Hoyland. I think 50 million for an English player who's actually decent in front of goal. And he's like, I'm not even saying that he's like one of these guys. I'm saying he's like a proper striker, the old school striker. Give him the ball in front of goal, he will put it in. He's that kind of a striker.
Yeah.
But again, we have known people who have very good careers before they moved to City and United and Chelsea. Extremely good forwards who go there and then they end up their whole career. Case in point is Anthony, who after going to Real Betis have been simply unstoppable. So
Yeah. So coming, I think that sums up this thing. I don't think there's much to add.
this video is going up to 50 minutes. Barcelona game 5 minutes, 4 goals. Dortmund team was shit. There were there were a few scares here and there, but in general, Hansi Flick masterclass. Defensively, shout out to Inigo Martinez, who is doing a madness, especially since Araujo has gone out injured, and a 17-18-year-old Pau Cubarsí is playing. A 32-year-old.
I think it showed in the last game they won. Like defensively, they completely.
Yesterday also, Inigo Martinez with a crucial
full on defense.
Very good.
I think the defense won the game. I think yesterday for you guys.
So as much as our attack is providing and getting a lot of the limelight for the club, and
there are some games which you have to, given the amount of games you play this year, there's some games you need to have, like you have to rotate the squad, and that's where the defense comes in. That's where the whole phase of defense winning you tournaments.
I know, and that is the worst part. Inigo Martinez was supposed to be a backup defender. Araujo was our club captain, has gone up to backup defender. That's how good Inigo Martinez has stepped up. And genuinely, Inigo Martinez is slow. Inigo Martinez doesn't have insane vision. Inigo Martinez does not have good passing. Nothing he has. But when the time comes, in those moments where he has to defend, he's like, this is my life. If I miss this ball, I am dead. He defends like that, and it shows. And especially Pau Cubarsí, again, this is just a region of our Carlos Puyol. Literally, guy is fearless in every tackle. He'll just go. So again, what else do I have to give credit to? Again, so I've talked about defense, I've talked about attack and how influential they were about the winning the game. But
I will mention about Dortmund.
Without going into too much detail about the midfield, you have to understand that what Pedri is doing this season is insane. It's even better than his breakout season with Barcelona. Pedri has been
and usually not many players like come back as much as
after injury.
After such a big injury. Yes, after such a big
He's so
injury.
influential. And see, I'm not saying it doesn't get any credit, but it's not as glamorous. The work he does, the way he plays is not as glamorous as Yamal or how a season that Rafinha or even our Pichichi is having this season. But Pedri has been undeniable. His influence is literally magic on the field. And Fermin Lopez is properly filling in for the void that Gavi has left after his injury. And still, I'm not saying Gavi has had a great dip in form, but Fermin Lopez is almost going up there and matching him. So we have a like-for-like replacement for Gavi and Fermin Lopez. In my opinion, Fermin Lopez gives more to the team going forward, while Gavi is more of a I will kill you if you come in front of me kind of a player. And I think Hansi Flick has finally allowed a certain Frenkie de Jong the freedom to do whatever he wants on the pitch, and it's reflecting so well in his performances, because Frenkie de Jong, after he's been given that, and yes, of course, right now Frenkie de Jong does play as a part of the double pivot where Pedri also sometimes. Imagine our double pivot is Pedri and Frenkie de Jong, and both of these players are playing in the opposition's final third. So of course, credit to the Highland and all of that, but despite giving them the role of being the double pivot and giving them so much responsibility in keeping the defensive shape of the team, he's also given them the freedom to sniff out. Hansi Flick has trusted them, saying that, okay, if you feel like you have to go up and do something, you have the freedom to do that. And the understanding and the chemistry between these two players is so good that if one goes back, the other automatically covers that area, and they do it quite decently. When Pedri goes up, De Jong is obviously, I've always loved De Jong. Right now, he's my most favorite player in the team. He always has been since Griezmann has left. And once Pedri goes up or Pedri drifts in, De Jong automatically, it's like I don't know, just that chemistry is beautiful to watch on pitch. If you have
Yeah.
not watched a Barcelona game in this season, and you are not a Barcelona fan also, but if you like to watch good midfield games, I would genuinely recommend you to watch one of these games, because actually what the chemistry between De Jong and Pedri is quite underrated in my opinion. If you actually watch a game, you'll understand that it's very good. Unless you have someone like a Bellingham or a Jamal Musiala running the midfield where they get those penetrative passes, they control the whole this thing.
Yeah.
Pedri does that to a lot of extent, but he's not as forward going as, let's say, Jamal Musiala, or he's not that as attacking. But this chemistry between these two, I think, would outmatch or outrun any midfield in the world at this point, because that's how good their understanding is of their roles. And besides that, Hansi Flick's highline, man, that I don't know how, dude, the highline is perfect. It's so good. And even when they're
I think he's mastered it. He learned from the flaws he had in the second season with Bayern, and I think he repaired it correctly. And he got the player set for who is willing to listen to do everything that he asks.
I'm telling you, he's lucky because right now it's Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez. If Christensen was fit, Christensen would be playing, and Christensen is a very good defender. Okay,
Yeah.
I owe him an apology because at Chelsea I didn't rate him, but once he came here, I actually realized he's a good defender. It was Rudiger who was the problem. No matter what
Yeah.
happens, I will never accept that Rudiger is a good defender. But Christensen, actually, there are a lot of flaws with his game also, but defensively he's actually very good. So if both
Yeah.
Christensen and Araujo were fit, they both would be starting. And if Hansi Flick had to execute his same highline with those guys, I don't think it would have worked out as well as it has with these two guys. Because Inigo Martinez's career was practically over. He came on a free.
Yeah.
And from there, he went to being called up to the Spanish national team.
Yeah.
And Pau Cubarsí is a 17-year-old who's always willing to learn. So he got two people who are willing to listen to whatever he said. And apparently, I've already told this in a previous episode, Flick was so particular that he's like, even if one of you play even one person onside, even by this much, by an inch, you are getting subbed off. And they executed so
Yeah.
well. Doesn't matter if it's a free kick, doesn't matter if it's a corner,
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's a counter attack. Their line is tight. And I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen a tight line like that
I,
since.
I think the first time everybody would have actually noticed this was when they earlier in the season when they played Bayern. Like, I was thinking, how do they keep getting away with this thing?
And they're
Everything was
happy
good.
with
Offside
it.
trap.
And they know.
Offside trap also. Offside trap is like some perfect. Like how much ever I like. How long are they going to get away with it? They just keep doing it every time.
And I'm not saying this will continue for next season, but you also have to realize we have two extremely fast wing backs. Kunde is very fast,
Yeah.
Balde is very fast. Balde is apparently out for 3 weeks now because of the injury he picked up in last night's game. But still,
Oh,
we have one guy called Gerard Martin or something, he's quite good. Or we have Hector Fort also, is very good. So, I'm not saying like for like replacement, but if you think about it, these two wing backs are fast. So, they can kind of hold out pacey wingers and all of that. But these two guys are
Yeah.
not like defensively all the way up there. They are decent defensively, but they provide much more value to the team going up attackingly and dropping into the midfield.
yeah.
So he's planned for all of these, that these guys won't be able to keep up, and he's like, highline is what it is, and he's maintaining it till today. Even last night's game, that's what saved them. There was a goal that they conceded. They won 1-0. Goal they conceded, it was ruled out for being offside. That line was so tight. It was like that too much. That too much, and they won the game because of it. And they're now 7 points clear on top of the league. Okay, I said 5 minutes, I talked for 8 minutes. That's my coverage done. I don't, and people might say because I'm a Barcelona fan, I'm not talking about Dortmund. I'm not talking about Dortmund because there's nothing to talk about. Useless they were.
They were just.
It was like
I'm sorry.
keeping those statues there that you dribble past for training. No, it's like that. They are those agility poles, they are those cones on the field. Nothing they were.
I think that's the ceiling. Now, I mean, the only thing, okay, even if they somehow manage to do something, get a 1-0 this thing, I don't think it matters. I don't think Barca also, unless like they want to maintain a perfect result, I don't think it matters also. Even if they play less seriously, I don't see Dortmund doing anything much significant. Even if they Barca plan to rest some of their players also, I don't see Dortmund going through. So that pretty much sums up everything.
Yeah, I just had to mention Lewandowski. And I mean, I don't give him as much slander, I feel, as he deserves. Because this guy will score insane goals from weird angles and there'll be tap-ins that he'll miss. And see, I'm not saying his output is not good. This season and last season, he's been incredibly good. And even actually, all seasons he's played for us, he's been really good. But my problem with him has always been missing in big games. And right now,
games, yeah.
because Rafinha is in the form of his life and Yamal keeps putting in balls that are very good and Pedri keeps giving him the good balls, and there are other people other than
Mm-hmm.
Lewandowski to finish, I feel like him missing in big games also is not hurting the team as much.
Is going under. Nobody's noticing it as much.
But not always are you lucky enough to get these second chances where you can actually score and get yourself on the name sheet, because last season and the season
Yeah,
before that also we saw that in big games he was genuinely missing. He does score insane
yeah,
goals and he has a massive number of goals, so output is not reducing, but
yeah,
I'm saying there are
yeah.
things that have to be sorted out with him, and the sooner the better. He's already reaching 35, 36 now. I don't know, I mean,
Yeah.
he might be how should I say, what is this thing called, extending with the club for another year or 2 years or whatever.
Maximum 1 year. That's how much he can give. That's otherwise
And
he
he's still
after that
very
he's
good.
gonna
This year
move
also
on.
he will win the Pichichi. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that he's a bad player. I'm just saying that he can be much, much better. Especially when the team, when you are an elite striker, there's no two ways about it. You are an elite striker, but you are playing like your prime Timo Werner when you get easy chances. And that is not done. I think that's not fair for anyone, including you. Because and people have in the league right now realized that Lewandowski is doing this and they are like, in front of goal, oh, he'll miss it. That's it. Defenders are not even rushing in to put in their leg to stop the ball when Lewandowski is open in front of goal, dude. I'm not even exaggerating. You watch any highlights that he's missed. When Lewandowski has an open goal, no one is trying to even block him. Whereas this fellow will be like near the edge of the box. From there, he'll shoot right into the corner. It'll go.
Long distance. Once he connects, it goes.
I have nothing to say. Anyway, that's my coverage.
So coming to the end, should we make predictions or we just must go with that? Either way, our predictions
I
are
think we can
good.
cut down each. We'll post the whole episode as one video, and then we'll post each
Yeah.
match as one video because each match is around 20 minutes long.
Oh yeah, damn. That's okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so predictions.
So as for predictions, what do you say? You
I'll give
start.
you a
Each
percentage.
game
Okay,
is.
we'll start off with the same order that we talked about. Arsenal,
Okay.
Real. I think 60% Arsenal will go in, but 40% still give Real a chance. Now, and I give this because we know the voodoo they do, without leveling allegations of corruption. That's all I can say. Next,
Okay.
I think this is the most exciting match in this thing, which is Bayern Inter, because this is the only game where there's an actual chance of a turnover.
Turnover, yeah, fair enough.
So compared to
fair.
everything
Correct.
else, so I would give a 50-50 chance to either team.
Okay.
Barcelona Dortmund is done. There's no point of talking about it. PSG Villa also is kind of done. There's no point talking about it. So PSG,
Yeah.
I'm giving 100% go ahead. Barcelona, I'm giving 100% go ahead. Bayern Inter is 50-50. Arsenal Madrid 60 Arsenal 40 Madrid.
Okay, I would slightly tweak that, I guess. Arsenal, I'm giving 70-30 this thing. Little more chance. I don't know. It's an ultimate blowjob. I'm even tempted to give them 80% chance. Inter Bayern, I'll stick with 50-50 because I don't never know what to expect out of this team. Sometimes they might, even though it's like, I don't know. So it's a knockout game. And if someone steps up, let's say Olise steps up suddenly, that guy, that's the only shining thing, good thing, like along with
I
Musiala,
wanted
that's
to
been
ask you
happening.
actually, what is your opinion about Olise?
Olise has been like, I would say a bargain signing. I think the amount of what we got out of him, I think he's turning up. Initially, he had a problem. Like the only game that I was disappointed in him was when we played Barca, because we had so much expectations. But then there's so much he could do. Like their offside trap, everything was so effective that they completely nullified his this
Pace,
thing
yeah,
there. So as much as right now, the only creative output that I can expect is to have him, and hopefully if Bayern has to start Muller, and especially since Musiala, they have to start Muller. No more this Guerrero, this thing, last thing, and all. Let him play in left back, and Sane definitely. If they start him, I don't know. Let him come back when we are defending or something, or when we are in a lead or something. Start Gnabry. I know you have to sub him later on. That if he managed to get few goals like early on, that's more than enough. So yeah, so I'll go with 50-50 there. Not going too much into that. And coming to the the Barca
Dortmund.
Dortmund game again, 100%. I'll give it to them. PSG Villa also 100%. I don't see anything coming by. Both teams are just going to control the game. more so with Barca, and even if Aston Villa pull something back, it's too far fetched. I think they are also quite satisfied with what they have reached. I don't think they'll be disappointed as such or
Fair
something.
enough.
All could have been. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the this thing. Before we finish, since already the video is this thing, we'll just sum up the Europa League and
No,
conference
I'm
because
not.
there's some.
What?
I'll just mention the fixtures as of now. So in the Europa League, right now Leon is playing. So Leon is one this thing that is happening just because PSG are like so good. It's going under the radar. Leon is having fairly of a decent
We will
season
cover
compared
that.
to what they
I
have.
actually wanted that was an idea for one of the videos because
Leon,
Renaissance
yeah,
is
yeah.
quite
So
good.
good, yeah. Given how atrocious they were previous year, like on the verge of bankruptcy, they're somehow making it. They are tied with United like 2-2 first leg. Another interesting game is Tottenham and Eintracht Frankfurt. That is also another good game. Especially Eintracht is like in top five in Bundesliga right now, if I'm not wrong. And Tottenham are Tottenham. So so yeah, so that it's like matchups, two matches we should look out for. And the most surprising story is a team from Norway called Bodo Glimt. Okay, it's a small fishing town in Norway, and they are holding a 2-0 lead against
Lazio. Yep.
Lazio. Okay, and it's not a bad Lazio. So Lazio actually performing decently in the league. 2-0 at home. But I don't know if they will carry on. But it will be nice to see another like a team like that in this thing. Then Rangers and Atletico 0-0 going into the next round. So winner of Tottenham and Frankfurt are going to face the winner of Bodo Glimt and Lazio. Winner of Rangers and Athletic Bilbao are going to face the winner of Leon and United. So probably Leon and
Actually, no.
United are going to get comparatively, I would say, easier
No, you think about it.
thing.
Actually, no. United have a chance of winning this, dude.
Yeah, that's what it's a easier this thing. They don't have
Dude,
to
this is
face like both
damn easy,
Tottenham.
dude. I'm not saying damn
Yeah,
easy, but it is easy,
no,
dude.
not undermining Bilbao as such, but Frankfurt and Tottenham, especially the experience they have in this competition, they are
No,
like they are avoiding them completely until the final.
Tottenham
And
United
only
final
one
and
of those
Tottenham
teams.
winning would be wild.
What the?
I'm just saying.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's a
No,
possibility.
because as far
It
as I
is
know, that's what the
possible.
final looks like. And this fellow
Yes,
Ruben Amorim, dude, the audacity. After this fellow Onana trying to sledge McTominay and McTominay saying, shut up. Ruben Amorim apparently said, I read this article. He said that I find the UEL more easy to play because the pace is much less than the Premier League. Psychotic. Is this fellow psychotic? What is wrong with him? Why would you say that? Your team is 15th, 14th in the league. Shut up. Go figure out how to run a team first.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that pretty much sums up the Europa League. And quickly to the
Oh my
Conference League,
god,
Chelsea
that
is going to
also.
win the Conference League. Chelsea is going to win the Conference League. End of story. Unless Betis and Fiorentina are
No,
going to kill
Betis is
themselves
actually
out.
really good since Anthony came in. So
No, Betis. That's what Betis and Fiorentina are going to kill themselves. So is Fiorentina. They are also performing very well. But in the league also, they perform actually outperforming. Betis and Fiorentina are going to close themselves out. Chelsea has a very easy path to the final. And it's going to be so easy. They're going to finish most of their games in the league. Everything is done and dusted. They can just purely focus on this game. Unless some freak incident happens, Betis and Fiorentina, how much ever we say about Betis and Fiorentina being good, this, that, and all, Chelsea, the squad they have is too good for the entire competition.
fair.
Even if they had a bad day, I think everyone is expecting them to win. Like how much, even if Betis or Fiorentina are going to reach the final, I would still give more than 50% chance to Chelsea because it's theirs to lose. That's how out of place they are in that
Yeah,
competition.
true.
It shows they haven't lost a single game. Single game. They haven't lost a single game
This
in the whole
this is one of the
competition.
problems I have with the Conference League.
Yeah.
People who are finishing 7th, 8th in the table, and there are sometimes clubs part of the big six that eventually finish sometimes outside. You are too
Yeah.
big for the competition you are playing, and then there's no
No,
chance for
I think
anyone.
they should stop doing this. Like prevent teams from, let's say, at least the top three leagues for not having the conference league slot, and rest of them get. Then only like the whole point was representation for the lower teams, the teams in the smaller countries to have. if this incident like seems like Chelsea are going to come everything, what are they going to do?
And
I know it's good for the financial point of view, getting the money, the broadcasting, all those things, because a single of those Chelsea games can probably get like more than like 10 times the amount they get for, let's say, some
rap.
Czech Republic team playing rapidly or something. I don't know. I can't even pronounce most of the teams there. So,
No, so I mean, I have
yeah,
never supported. I do not like the idea of the Club World Cup also, but it's a similar cash grab. So, as much
yeah,
as I don't support the Club World Cup, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And of course, how much ever we
yeah.
as football fans keep saying that is bad, this is bad, we'll shut up and watch anyway. So,
It's entertainment nonetheless, and we would want to know, okay, how will this team play this thing? What is going to go out?
fair enough.
So I think we are almost 1 hour,
Yes.
more than an hour into this episode. Yeah, so it's been the longest episode. So we have covered this thing, and we will get back to you once the what do you say, the quarterfinals are concluded. Hopefully, our
And also, one
conclude.
PSA, we wanted to do an episode about Manchester United. So, any United fan with a little bit of common sense who can actually rationally debate. See,
Yeah,
when I say common sense, I'm not saying all the other United fans are without common sense. I'm saying your love for your team should not overshadow your willingness to have a conversation or your rationality. So, any
yeah.
United
If you
fan,
if you
yeah, go on, tell me.
like if you are willing to like accept criticism or like or
No, because genuinely we are
it,
going to take a long, hard look at what is going on, like how we did with Bayern with Jitu. So we need someone.
and if we have some from Munai, we can get more of an inside view, someone who actually watches all their games,
Exactly.
some input from that. As much as we can cover, there is so much we can cover about teams that the outside of what we support. Unless like we can like we can't like watch every single detail. So if we could have someone like that, please do let us know. Please, you can approach us. Let's just comment in our video. We'll
Yes.
contact
Or you
you.
can message us,
Please.
anything you can do. Somehow reach out to us.
Anyway,
Not only United fans,
yeah,
I want fans from 3 teams who can actually talk,
yeah,
hold a conversation, who actually watch the games, and who are open to have a
yeah.
debate or who are open to rationally criticize their club. I'm not saying overly critical, we're not talking about vitriol. Just saying have a conversation about what is going on, how it goes on. So 3 clubs we want are United, Chelsea, and Manchester City, because their downfall this season also has been quite this thing. I mean, we can comment about
Okay.
Manchester City a lot, but having a fan's point of view from a neutral point of view in that would be completely different in my opinion. So these 3 clubs:
Okay, so Chelsea,
United,
United,
City.
and City. Okay, okay. I think City. Okay, United. There are the thing is Chelsea and United are so fans, but then this getting that proportion that we want, like what is like the sensibility is as City. I guess I don't know. I don't think any City fan will need to come
No,
at
we
this
can
point.
we can ask Alan, but I don't know if Alan will be free given his internship. United, I don't know.
Okay,
We can
so.
ask Charlene, but I don't know. We'll ask.
I can try getting some Dortmund fans. I know a
To talk
guy
about their
one guy
downfall, that would
who's
be very interesting.
I will try asking from them. There's a guy I might know. He's actually the vice president or something of Dortmund Kerala or
Oh,
something.
nice.
I
Then that's
tried
good.
talking
But
to.
will he be willing to have a
He's,
conversation and accept criticism of his club?
yeah. I will talk to him. I will talk to him what the our show is like and how it is going to be, and we'll see. Anyways, if anyone else is there who's watching our videos, you can also recommend people to us, or you yourself are a fan of amongst any of these clubs. You can this thing. If we get one comment, we are well and truly happy.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for watching. Goodbye. We are back to European football. Enough of Indian football for now.
Like, subscribe, share, and yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it till
Yes.
here,
Bye bye. Yeah, I'll put this video at the
bye.
beginning of this thing only.
Yeah, so this has to go earlier, I guess.